All right, if you are watching this recording, it means that you are done with your quiz and you probably did an outstanding job. Nice work, everybody. We're going to start 3.5, this purpose of screencast, to go over the instructions for this assignment. So I'm going to click on the assignment. And you will see the objective first. So the objective is to learn about the purpose, the organization, and the process of the three branches of government. This is going to be one assignment we're going to complete over 3 weeks. You're going to make a copy of the slide presentation here. You're going to put it into slides or into Notability, someplace you can find it easily again, because this is going to be a pretty important note type doc for you. We're going to be doing one branch each week. And then after we've done all 3 branches, then you'll turn it in. So I'll go ahead and make a copy of it now. So you'll see that the first slide goes over the objective. The second slide has sources for each branch. So this week we're going to focus on the legislative branch. You'll see that as self-paced units go, we've color-coded each source. So if there's a red dot next to it, it's a source that you need to do. If it's a green dot, it's a source that you should do. If it's a yellow dot, it's a source that you should aspire to do. Those are rigorous, content-heavy, pretty intense sources, but if you can get to them, they'll give you a lot of good information. So our job this week is to complete a Freire model on the legislative branch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the main ideas that you should be gathering information about. This is going to be the big answers for each part of the Freire model, and then you're just going to have to find more detail to go with it. Purpose, organization, and process. So we'll start with purpose. Purpose is the main job of the branch. So the main job of Congress. Notice how I'm using the word Congress. Congress is another word, a more common word for legislative branch. That's what we call our legislative branch. The main job of Congress is to write laws. Now, your job is to find some more detail about this main idea. So the main job of Congress is to write laws. Congress can write laws about, and now you need to go and find some information about what Congress can write laws about. So I would go back to my sources. I'm going to start with iCivics. I assume there's paper copies in Classroom that you can use. As you read through the source, you're looking for what Congress can write laws about. When you get to the second page, you'll see that there's a bunch of examples right here. So one thing I see that they can write laws about is post offices or the postal service. So Congress can write laws about. My first example is the postal service. Now you can do another one. After you fill out some detail about the purpose of the legislative branch, your next job is to explain the organization of the branch. Now, note that the legislative branch is bicameral. So, bicameral means 2 parts or 2 houses. You're going to be taking some notes on the 2 houses of Congress. So the first house of Congress is called the House of Representatives, and the second house of Congress is called the Senate. So you want to kind of explain both houses, how they're set up, what they do, and some like particulars that you can look for might be the age of people who are members there, like the age requirements. You might find the term length. And there's a bunch of information about both houses of Congress that can be found in the readings. So go out and gather information about the House of Representatives and the Senate, explain their organization. The last thing that you are going to do is find information about how the branch carries out the job. This is probably the most important part and the most challenging for you to find, which is why we're giving you an assist. So the legislative branch carries out its job by talking to constituents. So constituents, I'll change this so that it's not highlighted. Um, Constituents tell Congress, men and women, um, constituents tell Congress, men and women, their needs and wants. So constituents are people who live in a place that is represented by a member of Congress. So in Minnesota, um, I am a constituent of Ilhan Omar because she is the representative for the 5th District of Minnesota, and I live in the 5th District. So if you look at this, find an image of the 5th District of Minnesota. You'll see here's Minneapolis, St. Paul. This area, the 5th District, everybody that lives in this area is considered a constituent of Ilhan Omar. So as a constituent, I might tell my congressman or woman my needs or wants, and then they might turn and they turn my needs or wants into a bill. Now, this is the most basic, okay? If you were to just go through here uh, and gather information about the main job of Congress, and like be pretty detailed about the different things they can make laws about. If you were to give me a bunch of detail about both houses, and if you were to just end the process with that, you would probably finish with a 4 on the IB scale. This is what you need to do when we talk about this, okay? What you should do is go a little more in depth about the purpose and the organization and the process. Now, that might look something like this. In addition to finding information about the about the about what they can write laws about, you also um, might gather information about the checks and balances. Um, Congress provides checks and balances to the other branches. Some checks and balances are, so then you might gather some information about the checks and balances that they gather in it, that they complete, in addition to the laws that they are able to carry out. You also, in addition to describing the bicameral portion or like the bicameral nature of it, you also might look at committees. And committees are the groups of people who look at specific things that the legislative branch does. Like there's different committees for education and for energy, and they focus on specific problems. So you might look at the committee structure in Congress. The last thing that you might do under the process is you might study the process of how a bill becomes a law. And this is the specific process of creating a bill and turning constituents' needs into wants. So if you did all those things in addition to the first round, then you're going to put yourself closer to a 5 or 6. And if you spend time finding additional detail from these sources or finding your own sources, then you might move yourself into a 7 and 8 territory. So remember, your main job is to just gather information about those main ideas that I wrote down. Um, be much more detailed and explicit in it. And once you're done gathering information about the legislative branch, then you're done with this portion. And we'll get on to the other branches next week. Good luck.